So what's new in version 1.98? I'm going to do this demo on the phone as there's been some changes to the phone layout. Normally do it on the tablet. Let's see what they are. So if we go straight into the race screen, what you'll notice is it's in pursuit mode and the font's slightly smaller. First thing you'll notice is at the bottom there's a green band. That's been added to be the battery monitor, which has freed up some space for an additional button at the bottom for pursuit mode. If I long press on the battery button, it will tell me the level of my battery. What we've now got is 3 buttons at the bottom. We've got race mode, competitor mode, and we've got the class starts there, which we used to determine between a long press and a short press on the button, but a little bit confusing. So those are the changes to pursuit mode. Robbie's also fixed the negative starts are now announcing correctly with a 30-second interval, and the pursuit race results are now added to a Soundwave series file if you are running more than one pursuit race in a session. So those are the changes to pursuit mode. Just going to change the race type, change to multi-fleet. Just going to sort by boats racing. So Essen boats I've already added to the race. There's 2 starts. Just going to pop back to the settings. As I'm sure most of you know, if you're in debug mode, you get a quicker start sequence, and if you've turned sound off as well, you get a very quick start sequence of just 5 seconds. I've already turned sound off. Little trick to get into debug mode that we've added to make life a bit easier. Long press on the icon at the top of the screen and it's into debug mode, and that's fairly obvious you're in debug mode now. Into the race screen, you'll see at the bottom the bar is now red, which would indicate a flat battery, a very flat battery. As I said, long press, give the value. In debug mode, those thresholds are much higher, so that we can actually easily test it without having to wait for the battery to go flat. So those are the changes for pursuit mode. And the font sizes. We've also changed the search mode on this screen to be the enhanced search mode, which gives you the new button, which allows you to add competitors during the countdown, which wasn't possible before without using the menu, and so much easier to do now, especially if you're just adding boats that are already in the fleet. So just going to start the race. Be 2 starts of a little 5-second start sequence, and hit all clear. There we are, into race mode, and as you can see, we've now got, I think it's 7 boats on the screen, probably, whereas it would have been 3 or 4. Robbie's removed the PY from this display, which stops most boats wrapping. Obviously, in multi-fleet mode, you've got the fleet name at the end, so if you keep those short, that can also help. What you'll also notice, if you go further down, I've shortened the helm names on the lasers to just first name and initial. If you've already got your helms in your Soundwave file and you're importing into Soundwave, obviously you can just match on sail number and class and not bother to overwrite the helm. So the helm can be pretty much anything. I've also added the laser last 3 digits of the sail number to the helm, which allows you to search on those last 3 digits. One of the requests was to have a sort by sail number, so you can now see the sort by sail number has been added. Handy for a laser race potentially where you've got mixed rigs on the course. Obviously difficult to differentiate as they go through, so you can just sort them into sail number order and pick them out a little bit easier. Probably useful on the first lap. If using the search, they'll still be split between their classes. Search uses a autocomplete function. It's just the way it works. So we can't actually do a fuzzy match on certain digits within a sale number, which is why I've added the 3 digits to the helm name. So as you can see, there's a 20 there. So if I go in there and I search for 20, you'll see I'm pulling up Jo, whereas I wouldn't have pulled her up before. And just lap her. A few people, some laps. As you can see, I've lapped myself in the 300 as last round the course. If I press the tick, it's searched into the order the boats will be coming around the course next. So I was the last boat around the course. I'm still the last boat in the fleet. If I go at the top, I've got Jo and James. If I tick James first, so he's now ahead of Jo. Resort by pressing the tick. And as you can see, James and Jo are now the opposite way round than they were. So that's the order they're likely to come round for the lap, which is great for finishers. If you've used the search to determine the lap positions on the first lap, by this point you're pretty much in the order they're coming around the course. Just hit finish open. Won't get any sound signals as the sound is turned off. End the race. You'll see the PYs back on the screen there. Just allows you to have a quick visual check to see if there's any anomalies. That would be particularly relevant if you were using the self sign-on and somebody had added a new class and possibly used a PY that wasn't the standard. Less likely to happen with the standard PYs now, but good little check. Into results, and there you can see the 2 sets of results. Just reading my notes to see what else has changed. And the other reasonably big change is in the Sailwave export. There are 2 fields. There's ST and RFT, which is start time and real finish time. These used to be, the start time would be 0 for the first start and say 5 minutes if the next start was 5 minutes later, and the real finish time would just be the total time from the initial start. And we've now actually made those actual time, so clock time. That gives a couple of quite big advantages. If you wanted to record some results for a race that was, say, a long distance race, you can then just use real finish time within Sailwave, easily set the start time for the race within Sailwave or for each start, and it will calculate the elapsed times off real finish time. So you don't actually have to start DSRC at the beginning of the race and have it running for the duration of the race. Also would give you a get out of jail free card if the tablet went flat, or you may rebooted itself for any particular reason. As long as you've noted down the actual start time of a race, which most of us would do in case our stopwatches broke anyway, you've now got a way to get back into it with real finish time. And if you use debug mode with sound off, you can be into the results within, so as you saw, 5 seconds. So very simple way of gathering results without starting DSRC at the beginning of a race. I think that's pretty much it. Also want to say thanks to Callum for pointing out a very cost-effective waterproof phone. I think Robbie and myself have both fallen for it and gone for a £75 one for China. We'll try and put some links up on the website for that. And again, Robbie's done a grand job. It's been a little bit of a rush at the end as Google Play's changing the level that the app has to be at in a few days' time. So thanks again.
That's all, folks.